noticing that, those little losses to, Montana and everything like that can hurt us.
Playing against someone like Klay Thompson, who's having like an All-American season, how much of a motivating factor is that for you when you want to match up with him defensively?
Motivation, we kind of built the same, and I know Malcolm's going to start out on him. And, we did a great job on last year. I think he had 1 point at Washington State. So, it's going to take a team effort, not only, just man guarding him, but the bigs helping him rotating over and, hedging screens and, just knowing where he is at all times.
Thanks. Tyler, in addition to his 20-something points a game, Klay Thompson has, I think, 52 assists. He's almost averaging 5 a game. How important is it going to be to not only control his scoring, but just the whole creation that he seems to do well?
I'm sure that we'd rather have, the other guys have to beat us. He's going to get, a lot more assists being a good player. He draws a lot more attention. So I think our main focus is, to contain him and make sure that we do a good job on him, but, also not let someone else go off for points because we tend to do that a lot of times. We'll do a good job on their main guy, but then someone else ends up hurting us. So I think we just have to have a good all-around, team defense.
How's your shoulder feel?
It's good.
Yeah? How quickly did you kind of get over it? Because it seemed like,
Well, it's been sore like these last couple of days, but like today is actually the best day that it's felt. Like I can barely feel any pain in it at all.
Yeah. When you think about going into Pac-10 play, do you look at it as 3 separate seasons, like Coach Allen says? Josh Smith just said he doesn't. He looks at it as 1 game at a time. Are you okay? Now we're done with that part. Now we're
No, it's kind of a bit of both. The games that we played is that's that one part, but now it's to the next part. But your total overall record is the same. It's just the league. The league is going to be the difference.
Yeah.
But this is a very important league because it determines if you're going to get into Pac-10 or to the NCAA tournament or not. So we don't want to rely on the Pac-10 tournament, having to win that to make it into the tournament.
You guys were 5-7 at this point last year, 8-4 now. Are you satisfied? 3-game improvement?
Yeah, a lot more satisfied. We could have still had a better record. I feel that we only should have lost maybe 1 or 2 games that we've lost so far. But hey, that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Looking back on those games, and even looking back on a win over UC Irvine and some of the other ones, I think you can pretty much say that it's not necessarily what other teams are doing to you as much as what you guys seem to have done to yourselves at times.
Yeah.
Does that make it a little? Is it a little easier to swallow that because you can say, okay, we can correct then, rather than we're not good enough?
Yeah. I believe that, but a lot of people say that you have your friend and be like, you guys lost to them. You're like, yeah, we beat ourselves. But in this case, I really do think a lot of it is just us, just not being ready mentally and sometimes physically, not knowing what we need to do. But we play some very good teams, and how good the competition is out there. And now that we're going into league, we've had a lot of looks at the teams last year, not the freshmen, but the guys returning. So we know what a lot of teams are capable of, and a lot of teams I'm sure are better, and players are better.
Going back to that Kansas game, 33 points for you, I think it was. You haven't really gotten off like that since that Kansas game. The scoring's been very distributed. Are you kind of itching for one of those games? Are you itching to kind of get back in that in that groove again? Or
really, as long as we get the win, it really I like it when it's like distributed, like the BYU.
Okay.
Like our whole starting 5, I think is
you guys are all in double figures.
Yeah, in double figures, which is a good thing because we can hurt you in many different ways. It's not like there's one key guy that you can key in on. Anybody can go for big numbers. Josh can go for big numbers. I can go for big numbers. Reese can go for big numbers. Malcolm can have a great shooting day and go for big numbers, and so can Zeke. So I think when we have a team like that, it's way harder to defend.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of teams are playing zone because it's we're a hard matchup offensively with any team.
Going forward, what do you think is going to be the key? Yeah, the key to whatever. But what do you think is going to be the one thing that you guys need to get over the hump with?
I think our key to win is just being focused mentally, doing everything that we know that we can do. Because I feel if we do everything that we know we can do right at 100%, then there's not a lot of teams out there that I feel that can beat us, especially in our league.
Do you think that kind of once it clicks or once that hits, that there's no stopping you?
Yeah, we got a little momentum going into it, but these league games will probably mean a little more, especially playing. I think Washington State has the best record out of anybody so far. And
Pretty much the top two teams at this
Washington
point.
is ranked supposed to be number one in the preseason pick or whatever. So it's considerably one of the two of the best teams in our league. So give us a lot of boost going into the rest of the season.
Do you anticipate bigger turnouts in these Pac-10 games? Preseason or non-conference games, crowds were a little.
Yeah, especially for these. I don't know about Washington State because a lot of people still don't know about Washington State, but Washington, especially after last year's game was a great game, and a lot of the Washington guys are locals here, and I think everybody will come out. It's getting closer to school coming back in and things like that.
Do you plan on wearing anything on your shoulder or tape?
I don't think so. Nah. I wore some tape yesterday. I ended up taking it off because this kind of felt too restricted.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. Thanks, man.